Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dirty Four. Tonight's actually going to be a special night because tonight's going to be movie talk with this awesome guy, Cinema Italiano, aka Anthony Calabrese. So we're going to be talking about movies, and also going to be talking, like the title says here, uh, behind the scenes of Churchill. What is that? Well, we're going to be talking about that in a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't like, share, subscribe this, go ahead and do so. We're at 109 subscribers. We're trying to reach to 1K and over. But yeah, so like, share, and subscribe, give the thumbs up. And if you want to follow Lonely Path Films, go ahead here at the bottom. You see the links to their Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube, and that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, participate in the, here, just say hey, what's up, and let's just have a conversation, and then let's talk about movies. And also, sorry, Anthony, before this, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, and all that stuff. And there we go. So we have a few people. We have Jess Sorrell all the way from Australia. Then we have Davi, which is an awesome friend of mine from Fatal Switch. And then we have Jess Sorrell again. So Anthony, let's get this on. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. Sorry for that long intro. Like we had to.
No worries, man.
Yeah, man. Man. So how's everything, and how's film life going?
Not too bad. Like everyone else, I'm stuck indoors. I'm trying to do my best to hang with my family, get some exercise, and trying to stay healthy. Trying to. But as you know, you're stuck indoors. You have nothing to do. Well, I mean, nothing to do. There are a lot of things to do, but you tend to find ways to sort of not do them. And lately, I've been, encouraging my wife to venture out and buy, uh, try different restaurants who take out. And we've been trying a couple of different places. Like my go-to place is Giulietta,
Oh
because
yeah.
I love the pizza there.
Did you do Uber Eats?
No, you know what? We go out and we get it.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean it's become the thing, like
Yeah.
the thing to do. So
Yeah.
it's something to do, and so we go out and we try different places,
Good.
but tomorrow I think we're just gonna lay low. We're gonna stay inside. We're gonna
Yeah.
cook and just hang out
Oh
inside.
yeah.
I think it's gonna rain. We were talking about it earlier. I think it's gonna rain. So
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna rain, man. 2020 is messed up. It's washed up. So, folks, in order for us to continue, for those of you tuning in, this guy is Anti Calabrese. He's Cinema Italiano, and we're working on a upcoming film project together. And also, if you didn't like, share, subscribe, go ahead to the Dirty Four and give a thumbs up for this because we're gonna talk about film. There's gonna be an awesome night. Something to do before Christmas to lighten the mood a little bit. But yeah. So no, I hear you, Anthony. It's not easy, huh? It's not easy
at all.
No.
But
So
thanks for giving me the opportunity. I do want to talk to you about. We were talking about the writing process, and we were talking about this the short story that you basically had and wanted to share
mhm.
with me. You were nice enough to share with me. I really enjoyed the idea and the story, and we ended up writing the script, and then I think we got a cool title, Churchill. I don't think we should tell fans why or the viewers why we call it Churchill. I think once it comes out, I guess they're gonna find out. But it's a cool title and it's a cool story, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to write the screenplay with you.
Nice.
And the thing is, like like the writing process, like I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
Even like I guess as a comedian as well, you know how if you're collaborating with someone, it depends who you're collaborating with, and
Yeah.
at the same time, yeah, like it's always different.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is. No, but it was to be honest with you, like when I started this project, um, I know I didn't think it was gonna be that far, but then when you told me about the story that you want to do, I'm like, God damn, let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do
I'm,
it.
I'm glad. Yeah, because then, like, basically, once you told me the story, I uh, I had so many ideas, and I'm glad that once I ran the ideas by you, you were like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. And that's what I was gonna say. Like everybody's different when they get together with someone to write a story. And usually, like when I write, so I have a partner, Joe Rossi. We've written a couple of shorts together, and usually what happens is one of us has an idea, and we either and one of us writes the story, then the other one looks at it, and then we one of us might get an idea and say, okay, give me the story, and I'll start writing the screenplay, and because I think I know where you're going with this, and then it just works out. The person ends up writing the story, the screenplay, and then we look at it together, and we basically start tweaking it and changing it as we go along, and then either it gets longer or it gets shorter. But whatever happens, we at some point we get together and we go through it. And a similar thing happened with us, with Churchill. Once you basically told me what your idea was, you told me your story. I liked it so much. I think we're on the same page,
Yeah,
wavelength
yeah.
in terms of what we wanted or what I wanted. And then I ran it by you, and you were like, "Yeah, that's cool." And then once I showed you the screenplay, we sort of like went over it together and
Mm.
tweaked whatever needed to be tweaked. And things always change, even until the last minute. Like I know once we start filming it, that here and there things in terms of story gets changed.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like I'm really happy. Like I remember, like the last thing I told you when I called you is I had a couple of other ideas,
Hmm.
and I wanted to basically incorporate those ideas. I didn't yet,
Hmm.
but yeah, like there were a couple of things that I wanted to add to the story, and
Hmm.
you were cool with it, and so I'm really happy with what it looks like now. I'm really excited, and hopefully once this whole thing blows over and we're gonna have an opportunity to get out there and do something, we can put it together on film.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hold that thought. So Charles Vaccaro, he's on Facebook. He says, "Hey Anthony," and then he says, "Hey Claudio." He says, "Ti voglio bene." So that was on Facebook. So Charles
Hey,
Vaccaro,
how's it going?
can I say what Vaccaro's role was in Night Shift or?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the thing is with Charles, is like it's very, every time I talk to him about movies and music, and we talk, we have an opportunity to talk about like all of the like creative stuff that we're into.
Mhm.
It always ends up being longer than expected because we both have a lot to say, and he's been in the music business for a long time. And basically, he was talking to me about a project that he did um, not too long ago. I think it was 55. I think
Yeah,
he
yeah,
Yeah, I think he created music for 55, and I remember I went to go see 55 at a film festival. So I was at a film festival, and I was with my wife, and I remember the music. I thought the music was really the kind of music that he created was the kind of music you don't forget. You know what I
yeah.
mean? and
Exactly.
and it's like, it was really nice, and I didn't even know it was him. It was just funny. I didn't even, like, in the credits. I didn't realize it. And when I finally had a chance to speak to him, we were talking about what he was doing, and then he mentioned that he orchestrated the music for 55, and I was like, no way. I was blown away. And then I asked him, because at that point I needed some music for Night Shift, but something simple.
Yeah.
and we were talking about different tunes here and there, and he basically said, "Oh, I know exactly what you want," and he made it happen. And then it's in night shift, so it didn't really take long. It was like he basically saw the film and then developed the tune. It was like I think he told me like, "Oh, I was working on something, and I think it would be good for night shift." And he basically he sent me the no he sent me the audio, and I sent it to Joe Rossi, and then Joe Rossi put it in. He edited into night
Nice.
shift,
Nice.
which worked out nicely.
Nice. Yeah, so Anthony Charles says thanks Anthony with exclamation marks. And so I'm just gonna ask people who are watching this on Facebook if y'all want to go to on YouTube um because on YouTube we see your comments. Facebook, I'm not really seeing them. So if you want to go from Facebook to YouTube, folks, that'll be great. And keep pressing the thumbs up and share this if you can. But going back to what you're saying, yeah, no, because I interviewed, 34 interviewed Charles this past weekend, and man, this guy's on fire. For
Yes.
the stories that he told, and then it's a small world. It's amazing. And now going back to Churchill, like when we're writing this, Anthony, we're going through the same process, the same idea, and like what it's like. I find it's gonna be it's gonna be like the previous film that you've worked on, but it's gonna be. I'm trying to find words. I didn't freeze. It's trying to be, like you're gonna get a sense. Like what I'm trying to aim at is that I'm trying to get us like we're trying to get senses of these depths of characters.
Yeah, like I mean, we were talking about this. Like you were talking about the fact that actually you mentioned can this story Churchill be in the same realm as Night Shift, and it can
Yeah,
because it has like some of the same themes, and like these guys can be um, yeah in that world, and we came up
yeah,
with a couple of ideas of how that could happen.
yeah,
And I think it would be cool to have these characters in Churchill a part of the night shift realm.
yeah.
And I like we talked about a couple of things,
Hmm.
and I think it's going to work out. Yeah, like in terms of like depth of characters, I definitely like these characters. I definitely there's something about like for obviously we've never talked about this, but basically it's about a group of guys who do jobs for people in the underworld, and they just finished a job. Basically, that's they just finished a job for somebody big in the underworld, and obviously, I'm not going to say more, but basically the story starts off there, and
Hmm.
then it goes in different directions.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's a lot going on in this particular story. It's a dark story, and I think in a lot of ways, um, yeah. Well, there's violence. Obviously, there's violence in Night Shift, but in this particular story, there's more violence.
Hmm.
There's more violence, and I think what I like about the story is I like the fact that I don't expect the audience to figure out what's going to happen right away. Like in these kinds of stories, where you kind of like whenever you're dealing with like a genre, like this is obviously a mob story. People kind of can piece together what's going to happen,
Hmm.
but I'm guessing that people are not gonna figure it out until the very end. However, I think they're gonna be familiar with this type of story, which is what
Yeah.
you want. Obviously, you
Mhm.
want people to say, "Oh, this movie reminds me of this movie," but at the same time, you want them to be entertained,
Yeah,
obviously,
obviously that's key. Yeah.
and yeah, and you want them to be surprised.
Yeah, obviously, but no, you're absolutely right. I just, like we were supposed to film it this year, but obviously with the stupid
Yeah,
COVID and
it didn't
but
work out. No,
oh,
but it's okay because if we were going to film it months earlier, we were going to come up with these ideas that we have now.
Exactly, exactly.
So we
No,
can't. So the longer, yeah, you know what I mean. So
yeah,
even though it takes a bit of time because of whatever's happening, I mean, obviously there are more important things that are happening now, and that
yeah,
we have to obviously deal with.
yeah.
But the cool thing is when you have a story, you know, you have and you have time on your hands, you have more time to think about how you want to tweak it and what you
Mhm,
want to do with it,
mhm,
where you want to go,
mhm.
and so it became a better story because we're just holding on to it a little longer, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's obviously it's something and I can't wait till 2021. But but my interesting question is what influenced you to write, to do your half of the story? Like when you read the script, what did you think of like and then, why Churchill?
Yeah, well, I'm not giving away the title. Why Churchill? I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah,
not doing
all
that
right.
because
We're
then
not doing that, folks.
if I do that, yeah, 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 no, no, no. Let's keep that one for later.
All right,
Let's keep
cool.
that one
But
for later. But I'll tell you what's been influencing me lately.
mhm.
I've been watching. Well, I do this too. Like, I mean, I obviously you when you start writing these types of stories, you get into all the mobster movies, right? All the classic mob movies and all that stuff. And a few of them keep coming up, obviously, you know. But I've been watching like the one gangster movie that I watch from time to time when I want to write my own is Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
And
That is
then yeah, because it's like for me it's like it's one of the ultimate crew
yeah.
gangster movies. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, like they go from you know it's just obviously for those of you who know Once Upon a Time in America, you know, directed by Sergio Leone, it's an amazing experience. But then what happens, Claudio, is I get into all of the westerns too.
Yeah.
I start watching Once Upon a Time in the West, and then I start watching the good, the bad, and the ugly. A fistful of dollars, a few dollars for a few dollars more, and it just keeps going and going and going
Yeah.
and going. And so like and so like that's what happens, and then you get all these ideas. You know, you get all these ideas, and you get excited, and you're like, oh, you know, and try to somehow weave your own idea and like whatever story you have, whatever ideas you have, you try to you know think about what all these other stories have that make these stories so magical, and you
Yeah.
try to make it your own.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, we're talking about Sergio Leone, and
Oh, absolutely. No, I
yeah,
love him.
like so your
But
uh,
no, yeah.
expectations are up here. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice. It's always good to strive, you know, a little higher,
Absolutely.
raise the bar,
Absolutely.
and so that's where we're at.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like you said, like 2021. What do you think? What do you think? Like I'm really at this point, I'm demoralized completely. I
You
don't
know
know
what?
if we're ever going back to normal. I don't think so.
You know what? Let me just give me a sec. Okay. All right. No, but you know what? I think look, Logo says by 2021, January 11th, everything is going to go back to normal, hopefully. But I mean, and plus the vaccine came out, so hopefully everything's going to go back to the way it was. And hopefully by March or April or even May, in that matter, I hope we get to go back to the way it was so we can film this thing and hopefully, we'll get to go back to that quote unquote normal life. But man, you know what? It's just because we're all, by the way, no, it's because I'm on my phone for Facebook, so I'm watching the comments on Facebook Live on my
Oh,
phone. So
are
that's
there a
why
lot of comments?
there's a lot of comments. People are tuning in. They're tuning in on Facebook. So that's why I'm telling them.
Did you tell
Uh,
them who I wish would basically join us on this
no,
thing?
no, no, not yet. I don't see her name yet. But yeah, no. So that's it. So
I didn't. No, no, no. Not that you don't see her name, but I actually sent her the link.
yeah, I know.
I sent her the link. So for those of you who don't know that, I'm gonna. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
Go
Claudio.
ahead. Go ahead.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge, huge Sarah Silverman fan. I love Sarah Silverman, and every once in a while, I send like messages. She probably thinks I'm insane at this
Does
point, but
she? Does she respond?
no, no, and I don't expect her to respond, obviously. But you know what I did? I sent her the link to this show, and I basically told her if there's we have a bet going. So if she joins the show, Claudio bets me that I can't not say Sarah Silverman's full name if she comes on, and I lose the bet. I owe you a bottle of wine.
Yeah, but we all know who's gonna win the bet at the end of the night.
You're gonna win it. You're gonna win the bet.
Exactly, I know. That's why I'm like,
It's
all
not.
right,
It's not gonna. If she comes on, I'm saying her full name, Claudia.
okay, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
lose the bet. I lose a
All right.
guarantee.
Hold on. Before I continue, Peter Bone, who's Skyflame28, says you got to be on the Dirty Four episode, um, Calabrese. So you
Yeah,
are.
definitely. Thank
Yeah, yeah.
you.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
Oh, you will be. And then yeah, and then everyone on Facebook, hey, what's up? Sid Kohler, Sugar Sammy's brother, says Claudio with an exclamation mark. And then
Hey,
that's it.
is he the guy that you wanted in the film? Is he the
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
that?
yeah. No, he's the
Tell
guy
him. Tell
that.
him.
Yeah, yeah. I did
Good.
now, and you just said it now.
Good.
Yeah, good. All right.
Out there.
So that's it. So so I don't know where we're gonna be, man. I don't know where we're gonna be.
Uh,
I don't know.
It honestly, it's really scary. It's really scary because look, this is my feeling. Like I was talking to my wife earlier, and we couldn't believe how many people are out there. Like we went by a couple of places, like places where people go to buy fish and places to go buy food, and it's like they're very popular places in the East End, and it says like you would think there's no pandemic going on. People are just going about their business. The shopping malls are full.
Yeah,
The grocery stores are full,
yeah,
packed. Cars everywhere, and you just wonder, like, I get, and this is what we thought. Look, people work and are working, right? There's no, I mean, not everybody, which is unfortunate for sure, but there are, most people are working and they're working until tomorrow, right? And I feel like, if they have to get out there and they have to work, and when it's time for them to relax and enjoy, they want to do that as well. Whether it's see family members in some creative way, eat, drink, and be happy in some creative way, people are going to do it. And so I think that's the feeling. I really think that the government, they went about it really the wrong way. I think they should have like, because they were always using like the faucet as like the symbolic representation of what they should do in terms of like um, curbing, stopping all of these new cases from occurring. Closing the faucet, closing or tightening the faucet. What's the expression? Tightening the faucet there.
hmm
And basically, once they decide, okay, everybody go to work and do your thing. We're not closing anything. We're not closing the schools. We're not closing the shopping malls. We're not, then I think that's when the problem started, and then all of a sudden, the break comes around, and now everything is closed starting what, the 18th, the 17th or 18th. You can visit family, you can do this, you can do that, but you can still go shopping. You can still, you can do all of these things, but you can't see your family members. I think I understand why people are fed up and sort of they're frustrated and angry. I understand. I don't know what the solutions are though.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
no, yeah. Oh, the same here. Is there going to be a solution? We don't know, but but also people are traveling, so
and sorry, people are traveling as well. People are traveling and the cases are just going up and up and up every day. I think the last thing that I saw was like 2,000 cases today.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not going to stop. You know what I
No,
mean? So I
it's
don't
not.
know.
It's. I don't know, man. Look, I don't want to. I
Even
don't
with
want
the
to.
vaccines, right? The vaccines. Sorry to cut you off, Claudio, but I don't. But the vaccines, they don't. Once you get the vaccine, it's not like it's going to prevent you from getting the coronavirus forever.
Oh yeah, no. Plus,
Yeah.
plus, and now if you heard in England, right? The COVID mutated, man.
Yes, yeah. There's this new, yeah, mutated
Oh
version.
man, yo, Skyflame. I'm telling you this right now, man. X-Men is a true story. Oh man, no, it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy how we ended up here. But hey, you know what?
Yeah,
Oh man,
yeah, yeah. It is crazy. What are you gonna do? So like
exactly.
I just hope that that in the new year, we go back to some kind of normal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Some kind of normal, and we can go about our business in a way that's obviously safe
yeah,
and do the things that we want to do,
ab-
like make this film, right?
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely, man. Uh,
Um, did you, like we were also talking about at some point we were talking about the acting process. Like I don't know what everybody does when they're getting ready for us, to play a role.
mhm.
Every time like I think about how to go about playing a role, because obviously you're going to be playing a character in the story, and you want to tell them your name in the story.
Go ahead, man.
Your name in the story is Big Boy.
Is it big guy?
I changed it. It's Big Boy.
Ah,
I don't know.
God.
Big guy, big guy, big guy. I was like Big Boy. I
All right,
think Big
fine,
Boy is
fine,
cooler.
fine, fine. We'll go big boy. All right, no.
So we're gonna go with Big Boy, and I think
Hmm.
like we're talking about like like how we're gonna approach like playing these roles. But do you remember what's the movie Reservoir Dogs? Remember Reservoir Dogs?
Actually, I saw it yesterday, and I have
Oh,
the
cool.
DVD. Those
I've
of you
been
who
meaning
don't,
to watch it again.
those of you who don't know what a DVD is, it's like a CD, but you could play it in your DVD because honestly, before I continue, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
I
no
got
worries.
comments like, "Oh man, like what's a DVD player?" I'm like, "Really?" Like what's a I'm like, wow, because technology, right? We're so
Yeah,
used to
everybody's
technology.
online.
Yeah, exactly. We're so used to having things online. Like people, like man, you know what I miss, and we'll go back to Reservoir Dogs. Like what I
Yeah,
miss,
yeah.
for example, no, actually, Reservoir Dogs. If you see the old commercials, like now coming soon on VHS and DVD. I'm like, oh man, I miss those. And now it's video on demand in select theaters. I'm like, God damn it, man. God. But yeah, no, going back to Reservoir Dogs, which is a good movie. It's directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, you remember that scene where um the main character is on the roof with his with another cop, right? Because the main character is a cop and he's going
It's
undercover.
yeah, 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 okay.
Okay, and so the guy who's basically showing him the ropes, he's talking to him about what he needs to do when he goes undercover, and he's on the roof, and basically he said you have to act like an actor, and if you're an actor playing a role, you have to learn the script. And what do you do when you learn the script? You have to keep saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it until it's like you know it so well that you become that character. And
Yeah,
so I think I don't know, that's if I have to approach a role, that's the way I would do it. The first thing I would go about doing is learning my lines to the point where I can say them inside and out.
yeah,
And then basically what you do is after you know your lines inside and out, you start with, then you can add the emotions, right? You start saying it with emotion. And I think that practicing, whether you have to be angry or happy or sad or whatever, if you have that range where you can play it any way that you want, you can practice what the best way is and then say it the way you feel like it's the right way, the way that you think is correct. I mean, is there a right way? I don't know, but I think it's the best way or the most entertaining way.
yeah,
And then you do with what you're comfortable with, what you're happy with, and what works.
yeah,
And then once that happens, then I think you can start interact, maybe like sort of when everybody's ready, especially if you're doing a scene with other actors, and then see how it works with everybody else, and then tweak if you have to in terms of what how you're going to say it, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and then it becomes kind of like a dance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, no, it's that's it. But but knowing you knowing your lines, you're gonna have to get into the character. Right? It's all about getting into that
Yeah.
moment, that scenario. But it's fun, it's cool. That's why, like, the more I was reading about this character, I'm like, God damn, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Like, but see, that's the thing. Like, I've been in situations now where like I've had actors like just tell me like I didn't learn my lines. Like I didn't learn my lines, but I'm gonna say the lines, and we're here. Let's just do them. And when you do that, sometimes it works. Sometimes it works, but I feel like yeah, it works. But I just in my mind I keep thinking, what would it sound like or look like if we would have worked it out where because obviously there's no time to do anything and people are everybody's got something that they're doing, and when you come together to make like let's say a short film, your time is limited, and I get that obviously. Uh, but when I think when there is time, the best thing you can do is work it out with the actors until they know their lines and they can do it in many different ways. And then and then this is obviously when you have time, which is never the case. But when that happens, then I think you can get the best version, obviously. But that rarely
Absolutely.
happens. Like I've done it. I've done a few of these, and the actors that I've worked with are always very good. They're always good. You know what I mean? It's happened there. Like on one occasion, that I wasn't happy with one particular actor, and that will always stay with me. But ultimately, like the actors that I've worked with have always done a solid job. But I can't help but think that when you get to a level where, okay, obviously, there's time to do this, in many different ways, and we can take our time with this because maybe one, the actors are getting paid, two, there's a lot of time on your hands, then you can get something really special.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But until then, I think the best thing you can do is at least know your lines inside out, and then once you get there, um, whatever happens, happens, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's I as you also mentioned, um, yeah, as you also mentioned, it's also about time consuming, because if
Yeah,
actors are getting paid to do their lines, and then there's that. But since most actors don't get paid, it's only amount of time. Like most of us all have jobs, right? Like real
yeah,
time jobs. I'm talking about like 9 to 5 jobs, and and we can't afford to take. Again, if you could take a week or two off, that's great. But we can't we can't afford to take more than a certain amount of time off because we need to make money.
yeah,
But but we're all aiming for that, and we're all aiming to get that big paycheck for working on a movie, and so we don't have to do our jobs, our usual jobs, like waking up and be like, oh man, I can't believe I have to do be a 9 to 5 job. Like I want to jump off this bridge right now. But anyways, like we're all expecting that, but but I guess it's the hustle that gets to where we want to be, right? I guess it's all about
yeah,
uh progressive, but again, reality kicks in. I mean, you
yeah,
have a family, and I have a job, and you have a family, and I know it's time consuming. That's why, like, when you have like a short sketch, like sketches are the way to go because sketches are quick and easier, right? One or two locations max. But that's it. But like if you're working on a like that's why like for night shift, going back to it, it's because I was really impressed with how you were working on it. Like
uh-huh.
Vito and Massimo were telling me, and what Joe Ross was telling me too. Like, you guys had X amount of days, and and you guys had to hurry up because most of you guys had had an outside life, which is great, and y'all. And by the way, Night Shift is winning award, which words can't describe how amazing this is.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm glad you brought it up. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. On just talking about Night Shift and it winning awards. We actually, like, I was talking to Joe Rossi, who's the director of Night Shift, and my partners Anita Maetza and David Magini, and we're because obviously like some people were messaging me about when when we're actually going to view Night Shift, and it's also you and I have talked about it many times, and we do have a date. So January 23rd is the tentative date for the viewing, which is nice. And the reason why it's in the new year is because there are a bunch of film festivals that Night Shift got accepted to. So we're gonna see what happens with these festivals leading up to the viewing, and it just I guess it made more sense for everyone to set a date like end of January, so that if it does win, if the film does win a couple more film festivals in certain categories, there's a bigger build up there, and it's always nicer. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's it's always nicer, and at the same time, that's why I was saying, like hopefully with all the hustle that we have, we can get bigger projects and get paid, and then we don't have to rely on our 9 to 5 job. Like
Yeah, that's like I guess.
yeah.
Sorry, you were gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say this is our new job, hopefully.
Oh yeah, like I mean, obviously, you. This is like one of the things that I'm passionate about, but the interesting thing is, um, even if let's say these short films that we've done over the years, like I've been doing these short films with Joe Rossi and Anita and David. Um, I think for maybe 3 or 4 years now. I think we're going on four, if I'm not mistaken. So it hasn't been a long time. So we've done a number of projects, and every project that we've done, we've been turning corners. Like
Yeah,
every project that we've done, each project is a different genre. Each project has been getting more awards on the festival circuit, and I think the key is to keep doing these projects until basically we get what we want. You were saying that it is difficult because obviously these projects are time consuming. But I mean, if you're not doing these projects, then what are you doing? Obviously, ultimately, like I think the goal now for Lonely Path Films is to make a feature film, and we talked about this as well, like you and I, Claudio.
yeah.
Like funding for the film is something that obviously is an art in itself. Like obtaining funding, is very difficult. But there's always the option of doing it yourself, funding a feature film yourself. And I've obviously thought about it a number of times. But I mean, there are a lot of possibilities in terms of like getting people to be interested in your film, and trying to put a team together to make this happen. And obviously, there are organizations out there that are willing to fund you. And it's basically time. Like if you do it once and you get rejected, and you're like F it, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna do. I got rejected. Forget it. It's not gonna happen. Obviously, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing is going to happen if you stop, right? But if you keep going and you keep creating these projects that win awards at film festivals, what happens on a small scale is you build a portfolio. So obviously, like all of these short films, they're calling cards, but they're also potential feature films. And like one idea that we had, the engagement, was a short at first. It was a short story, about 30 pages long. Then Joe and I made it into a script, produced it with Nita Matz and David Magini, and we put it together and made it a short film. And that now it's a feature script. So I mean, and that all takes time. So obviously, if you're not in it, if you don't know that it's going to take time, and you're an impatient person, I don't think you're going to get anywhere.
No,
Uh,
you're right. You're right. It's a long process. It's a long process, and you know,
but the key too is also a long process, but the key is collaborating with people,
Absolutely.
networking.
Yeah, yeah, I was there.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
something as well.
yeah.
You're
Exactly.
you're
Exactly.
building a portfolio, you're working with your team, but at the same time, you're entering into other circles.
Yeah.
Slowly, you get to meet people who eventually, at some point, hoping that you turn another corner and something bigger happens.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely. It's it's all about, as I mentioned, grinding is the important part, right? Grinding is is what keeps us going. And at one point, you just gotta tell yourself, hey, I'm making it, and not making it, but well, I mean, making it is in your own terms, but at the same time, you want to have that confidence and, hey, I got the right contacts. Let's try to make something out of this,
Yeah,
but that's it. But that's why, that's why, like, I know I admire Lonely Path Films is because you guys are doing this, But you know, at the same time, as I mentioned, we always have that struggle. We always have that stress, like, oh my god, we're gonna make this there. Oh my god, we're gonna make this there. We're gonna make it now,
yeah.
and yeah,
No, you're absolutely right. But you know what? You know what's funny? Like there are so many talented people, let's say in Montreal, on an independent level, like at the level that we're at now, just trying to basically have an opportunity to get one of our, let's say, our feature scripts made. There are so many talented people. My opinion is, if a group of these people who are more or less at the same level get together and try to make a feature, it can happen,
yeah,
and it can happen fairly easily. But I think that's the hardest thing, is to, you have your own project, right? So like, I would like that these people that are out there, my intention is to reach out to them and say, look, if we all get together and we use our strengths to our advantage, whatever story we're working on, we can get it made. Let's
oh
say
yeah,
a feature film. See, but the problem is, and I thought about this: whose idea whose idea do we do? Whose idea do we produce? You understand what I'm saying? So
exactly.
everybody has their own personal project that they want to get out there. I guess if you put it to a vote, it can work that way. Like, I've thought about this. All these, let's say we get, let's say, I don't know, 10 or 15 filmmakers, and we put it to a vote. Whatever script is, let's say we all decide on a couple of scripts that could potentially get made, and then we put it to a vote. Which script could be the one that we can make? And then that's the script that we make into a feature. We put a vote to it, and then we make that feature. Then that maybe might be the way to get it done. But it's tricky. I mean, everybody's doing their own thing. However, it's, like, a lot. I hear, like, there's a lot of producers that are, a lot of producers, the few that I've heard talk, or even like, they're even like, and I'm not going to mention any names, obviously, but they're also like, people who have access to funds, or in the film world in some way, who can make these things happen. If you do it yourself, like, that's the only way that things are going to get done. And I believe that that's true. But at some point, you get things done on your own, for sure, but you need that that link, that bridge, to get to that next level. And you, like, an organization sort of grants you, I don't know, $100,000 to make an independent film because they really believe in your work. But they're also limited. There's a limited amount of places that one can go to get these grants. You know what I mean? And it doesn't happen often. And so, or as often as you would like it to, anyway. Or that, there are these producers that are out there, or people who have access to funds that can basically bridge that gap, so that, that you can make that film that you want to make. But it's hard, it's very difficult, because you're not in that circle, one, or, or they, their mindset is, oh, don't whine, don't complain, If you have to do something, you do it yourself. I don't see it as whining or complaining. I'm just saying that there has to be some kind of collaboration. Like many times, like I thought about, if there's if there's ever like a something that Montreal needs for independent filmmakers is like a film festival that once you have the first, second, and third winners in the film festival, they get grants or they get money to make their feature films. Let's say they're entering this film festival to make their shorts. This film festival has access to funds that can help these filmmakers make their shorts into features. I think that would be great. You know what I mean? But then where do you? But this it doesn't. It does. This film festival doesn't exist, or I don't think it exists. But that's what I'm talking about. Like giving like filmmakers or writers an opportunity to get their work out there and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's all about, you know, it's all about impressing people with the most bank accounts. No, sorry, I'm just hold on. This thing's kind of bothering
Did
me.
you say it's about impressing the most people with with bank accounts?
Yeah, exactly. No, well. The reason why I'm saying this is
That's not what
because
I'm saying. That's
no,
not what
no,
I'm saying.
no, no. I agree with you. But I'm also adding to what I'm thinking of this as well, right? It's basically like impressing like producers. Like I've been watching a documentary about Jerry Bruckheimer, and
Yeah,
Jerry Bruckheimer, he's usually the one who produces action films for Michael Bay. And he was basically like, I sort of got like, I don't know if this was an SNL parody. He goes, "Well, you got to impress me with with your idea, and and it depends on how much money I feel like giving to you. That's how much I'm going to give you." Like, there are producers out there who've been rejecting a lot of people just because they're like, "Hey, you know what? Your story doesn't interest me, or it interests me, but I'm only going to give you this amount," or they back out last minute.
yeah,
But what you're saying, what you're saying is totally, totally true.
yeah.
Uh,
Like I'll even give you an example.
sure.
Roger Corman.
Yeah.
Roger Corman. He's like one of those producers who's produced amazing, talented people. There were, but and if it wasn't for him, and they say it all the time. I mean, I can say, like I think Scorsese is one of them, right? I keep like, and without Roger Corman, Scorsese was one of the ones that he helped sort of get his stuff out there, gave him an opportunity to get his stuff out there. If these people, these artists don't have an opportunity, Francis Ford Coppola is also, he's a filmmaker who's, who basically was well known within the industry when he was young, and he was giving other filmmakers like George Lucas opportunities to get their work showcased or get their work produced. No, not only George Lucas but other filmmakers. You need these guys. You need these
I
guys
do,
that
you
are
do. Yeah, exactly, exactly. You do
that
need that.
are that are creative in that sense as well,
Yeah.
to help sort of bridge that gap between the artist who can, because not everybody's you know the, you know what I mean. When you're a carpenter and you're like, you have a trade, okay, so your vocation is, you're an electrician. There are some people that can do it all. They're a carpenter, they're an electrician, and they're a plumber. If they're that talented, they do it all. But there are plumbers who do plumbing. There are electricians who do they do that work, and then there are carpenters that work on this solely. So not everybody's adept at doing everything.
Oh,
But
exactly.
yeah, it feels like in this business,
Yeah.
I'm learning that you have to wear like 70 different hats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you're not that guy. You're
Yeah.
not that person. You have to
Exactly.
become that person. Okay, so be it. It may take more time,
Mhm.
but it would be nice to have a place to go to where filmmakers can get together and sort of maybe make these projects and see, like, obviously, you not just, I mean, I'm not saying make the projects that are obviously that stand out into a reality, you know what I mean, and see where it takes them. But I find, like, I'm talking about on my level, very independent, level, where you're making these short films and you're building your portfolio, and you're trying to expand and grow. There's no avenue where, like, I can go there and say, hey, this is what I have to offer. What do you think? Um, do you think you can get this made? I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't have anybody to who will listen really. I might get one chance. But like, some people it happens. Some people, they get that one chance and then it works out for them. That's fantastic. But I mean, the reality is you need, more than one chance. You know what I mean? You
Absolutely.
need multiple
Absolutely.
chance opportunities to get your work out there. And if nobody's listening, or there's only, a selected few places where you can go and try to see if you can get your work out there, it's very difficult.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's all about the stress and the hustle, man. But hey, you still want to do this because you think you have a story to tell and people are interested. But I
Yeah,
mean, no. Let me just backtrack here. It's also about a story that you want to tell, but then you hope to God that hey, um, are people gonna like this or are people not gonna like this? There's also that chance too. But then as time goes on, we understand how it goes. I mean, for me, like what I really find hilarious is the fact people, not in the entertainment industry, they're like, oh, what does it take to make a movie? What does it take to edit? What does it take to write? This or that. But like they don't understand the process that it has to go through. Like, they don't understand the process that it takes to get
yeah,
from point A to point A and a half, point B, and all that. And I just find it hilarious how people like when they think you need a producer, okay,
yeah,
they would always say, oh, why, like why do you need a producer? It's so easy, just put like go up to a location and but I'm like, oh, okay, well, I see where you're going, because for example, like I have a friend of mine, uh he wants to work on a short film, which we're going to be doing again in 2021. But the reason why he's like he's been asking around sponsors and producers and people who are not in the entertainment industry again, technically tell him, hey, it's easy, you got a couple $100, yeah, that's it. It's just, oh man, I
yeah.
just,
No, no, it's extremely hard, and I've been in those situations where people, you're still like, you haven't done it yet, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, and it does take time. And if you're the kind of person who is not the kind of person who acts quickly, it can take a lot of time before you get things done, because obviously it depends. It really depends. But just going back to what you were saying, all of the filmmakers, let's say you talk about, let's say, Brian De Palma, or you talk about Scorsese, or you talk about, I mean, you name them, like the big time filmmakers that are out there, Francis Ford Coppola and all the others that are out there. Even to this day, they talk about projects that they had 10, 15 years ago they couldn't make, and now they had an opportunity now because of Netflix or other companies that are out there that give them other options. That, I mean, that's my point, is like, even guys like Scorsese, if he talks about The Irishman, for example, I've heard him say it took me 15 years before I got it made, and Netflix came along and picked it up to make it for $100 million or whatever. But you see what I mean? Even the biggest names have to find places to go where they can find the money to get their film made, and it's Scorsese. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean. So, my, I'm not. I think I'm making a point here. I mean, it's
no,
like,
you are. No, you are making a point.
so
You are making a point, and it's hard on everybody, right? I mean, for example, like looking back in the '70s, Francis Ford Coppola, when he came out with the movie The Conversation, like
yeah,
that's one of his personal films,
yeah.
and he said,
And
well,
it
it's
won
about,
a Palme d'Or, I think.
yeah, and he said he had to wait till he got financial finance from The Godfather to make The Conversation.
There you go.
So
And yeah, and even that, like, if you watch, I think there's a documentary on it. You watch the documentary, he even says, Francis Ford Coppola at one point didn't want to make The Godfather when he was offered The Godfather.
that was the
And
third one.
I think it was George Lucas that told him, "Are you nuts? Take the movie so that we can all find a way to make more movies." You know what I mean? So he did it,
I think it was
and
the
then
third
obviously,
Godfather.
Sorry,
I think it was Godfather 3.
it was I think even the first one he didn't want to do it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I remember watching, I think, a documentary where it was like George Lucas who talked him into making the film,
Yeah.
because at that point, I think whatever company they were dealing with didn't want to deal with them anymore, because I think George Lucas had made they didn't want to like market THX, his
Yeah,
film.
yeah,
Yeah, so they thought it was a loser, and everybody. I mean, so that at that point, George Lucas was dead in the water, and Francis Ford Coppola was lucky to pick up um, The Godfather, and then the rest is history, obviously.
yeah.
But I mean, right after that, George Lucas made American Graffiti, I think, and then it became successful. And then he made Star Wars, and then forget it. You know what I mean? Star
Yeah,
Wars, and then Indiana Jones, and whatever. But at
exactly.
one point, all of these guys, they didn't have. They were looking for opportunities to
Yeah.
make their films. Now, can you imagine if after THX, George Lucas, he was, like he never, because it was in the eyes of the, I forget which, I think it was maybe Warner Brothers, I think. I'm not sure, but after that, I think Paramount picked up everything.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
Exactly.
but imagine if after THX, George Lucas, nobody was willing to take another chance on him, or give him an opportunity. We wouldn't have had Star Wars. We wouldn't have had Indiana Jones, American Graffiti. And by the way, I think George Lucas is an underrated filmmaker.
Yeah, he is. He is. You know what? Speaking of that, I think the prequels are much better than 7, 8, 9. Because at least the prequels they have flavor, right? They had
At this point,
yeah,
I appreciate everything that's in that world anyway that gets done.
yeah,
Uh, so
exactly. Yeah, except for episode 8, that should be shot. But anyways, but no, because I hate episode 8. But no, like at least
I
the
love
pre
them all.
Yeah. At least, at least, like the prequels they had, was George Lucas's idea. But yeah, I know you're right. You're absolutely right. It's, but still, Coppola, he was still having trouble with making The Godfather.
Yeah. And then exactly. Then he gets The Godfather, and they want to throw him out because he wants to make these creative choices, like who he wants to. 'Cause the companies didn't want Al Pacino as the main guy, as Michael Corleone. They didn't want Marlon Brando as the Godfather. They didn't want this. They didn't want that. And it's like he's Francis Ford Coppola. So that's what I mean. So at the end of the day, it's all subjective. It's the kind of it's the kind of business where you never know. But these guys, in our position, have to have an opportunity. And basically, if you don't have an opportunity, you have to create your own opportunities. But that can take a little longer than usual to get
Yeah.
to where you want to be. Um, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, it's
Am
just
I am I boring you,
no,
Claudio?
no, 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 no. So no, because I got this light that's really up there and it's really in my face, so it's really making me like what the heck. And then I want to go get some water, but I'll go soon. But no, it's I guess it's all the creative struggles that we got to make, huh? That's
Yeah, yeah.
uh
At the end of the day,
yeah,
it's all a struggle.
yeah,
And if you
exactly,
and bottom line, like you said, it's the hustle, it's the grind. You do have to do it yourself. You do
yeah,
have to do it
exactly.
yourself, and then you basically try to go through those channels and avenues that other people before you went, and you
Mhm.
hope that your work gets noticed, and then you hope you reach a point where someone at some higher level says, okay, this is something special. Let's do something. You hope,
Yeah.
but it's a grind. It's definitely
Oh, it
a
really
very
is,
tough
really is,
thing to
man.
do.
It's that's why, like, I appreciate the filmmakers, as you mentioned. I appreciate them doing the entertainment for us. Because at the end of the day, people like us, like what do they care about? What do they care about? The process that's going to a movie. Like what do they care? Like as long as they see the movie. You know, that's all they care about. As long as going to go and pay a ticket, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. Nobody, yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, like
nobody understands the struggles, huh?
yeah, like I mean, someone who just goes to watch a movie to get entertained, they obviously, they don't know the ins and outs, and they don't know what it took to make that film. And even like, you know what? Actually, when and I'm glad you brought that up. Growing up, you used to watch movies, and I wondered anyway,
Mhm.
why, one of my favorite actors wasn't doing more. I get it now. Like, how come this actor is not working every year or any chance that he gets? You hear like a movie comes and the actor turns it down. Like, I understand. You know what I mean? It's like it's not an easy process. It's a
Which
very difficult process.
which actor are you talking about?
Whether no, I mean, I can't think
Because
of one particular actor, but let's say, I don't know, Harrison Ford, and why it took so long for filmmakers and everybody involved with the Indiana Jones series to make another one right after number three. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just very difficult. It's hard. It's the
yeah,
hardest thing to put together, even at the highest level. And like I said, even at the highest level, it takes like years and years and years before like things come together and you make the film. You know what I mean? It's even at the highest level. So you can imagine what's going on like at this level where you're trying to build a portfolio for yourself, and you're hoping that someone notices, this short film, what you did with it is really, something cool. Um, you have top producers in major companies that are turning down films that, once they get made, they make billions of dollars. You know what I mean? And obviously, I like there are so many stories out there like that. I can't think of one in particular. But maybe, with George Lucas, I think I remember he was saying, um, I think with Star Wars, even. I mean, not many. I think he went to everybody before Paramount actually picked it up. And if correct me if I'm wrong, one of the reasons why he owned half of the, I think he owned 50% of the film. It was because he was doing all of the major work on it, and obviously he believed in it. And the reason why he's a billionaire today is because he owns half of the rights. Or now, I mean, obviously he's dealt with Disney and he sold the rights, certain rights to Disney for these films, Star Wars and Indiana Jones or whatever. But you have these major companies that are turning down movies like this. So you know what I mean. So it's very, very difficult. It's hard.
yeah, no, it really is, it really is. No, but hey, man, who knows? Maybe for Churchill, we're gonna have to go to financial problems, and then we're gonna find our producers like, no, I don't want it here, I want it there, or I don't want this actor, I want it. No, but no, even as a when you're doing short films, right, you're very time constrained, and you're stressed because you don't get the financial aid that you need, right? And that's
Yeah.
what that's what's a bit stressing, because at least think about this, okay? When you're doing a major film, right, whatever film that may be, at least you're getting help, and okay, this is not going to be a problem because so and so took care of this. So your job is just to direct, your job is just to write. But if you're doing in a short film industry, yeah, you're gonna have people helping you out, which is great. But at the same time, you're always having that stress. You're always telling yourself, "Oh man, I gotta go out and do this, or my friend gotta go out and get this permission." But we always have to be stressed, saying, "Oh man, it better be a yes, it better be a yes," and then you can't do much because you don't have full access, because that money unfortunately is holding you back.
Yeah, well, look, at this point, like, yeah, it does take money to make even these short films. Obviously, you find creative ways to get it done, and
Mhm.
I've certainly with obviously Nina Maetza, David Magini, Joe Rossi, we found ways to get it done. The big help comes from these talented actors in Montreal who uh, who I enjoy working with, who enjoy working with us, who like our stories, obviously enough for them to do this,
Yeah.
to do the projects, and so you find creative ways to get it done. But I wouldn't. I at this point I am very confident in my abilities. And obviously, and the people that I work with are very confident in our abilities to get funding, however, whatever the amount is, to make a feature film and take on that responsibility. Like I don't like if you tell me, we're going to give you, if a company comes to us and says we're going to give you $1 million to make this film, we're going to take that money, we're going to make a film, and we're going to make it obviously in the best way that we can. And I'm not going to be worried about you know the like having the stress obviously of making $1 million film. And mind you that like nowadays, like making a $1 million film or $6 million film or $10 million film is considered like an independent project. It's not considered a big film. I mean, you at this point in my life, like and the people that I work with, we're not stressed about that. We're confident enough to take on that responsibility because we know what it entails. Even though, say, like whether it's a short film or it's a feature film, the process is the same. You know what I mean? It's like you go through the same kind of process. Obviously, it's on a bigger scale if you have a major budget, or if you have a budget like whatever it is. Um, so like I mean, and there's a lot more that there are a lot of tasks that you have to take on obviously when you make a bigger film like that, and there are a lot of things that come into play. But I mean, it is what it is. Like I'd rather be in that position because that means that I'm working in the industry at this point. You know what I mean? I'm solely working in the industry if I'm dealing with productions that are like $1 million or $10 million or $15 million or $100 million. You know, I'm in the business. So like I mean, and so on a smaller scale, the films that we made or are going to make, like Churchill, even if the film costs a couple of $100 or costs a few $1,000s, the process is the same. You know what I mean? You still have to go about making the film in a professional manner, because if you don't, then you're not going to win awards at film festivals, even on the smallest scale. So I can tell you, when Night Shift enters a film festival and wins best cast award, best actor, or best director, best editing, or like even now the feature script, the engagement, we have a feature script, so it's a runner up or it's a winner or it's a you know that you're doing something right, and you're doing it at a level that people recognize is good stuff. So you know that's basically, that's how you have to go about doing it, even on a smaller scale. You have
Yeah.
to treat it like you have like the kind of budget that takes care of like so many people, um from crew to producers to whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. No. But as I mentioned, it's very important. I brought this up. But yeah, you know what? Patience is also virtue too. But as I mentioned, it's very important. We were talking about earlier today. Let's just drift off a bit. So you were talking earlier today about you bought a film book.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. I bought two books, and I started reading one of them. And the book that I bought, because I'm a huge Fellini fan as well. Like I like watching Fellini movies, and I'm a fan of his work. But I'm also a fan of like he's written like um, short stories about his life, and like the book that I bought is Fellini on Fellini.
Where'd you buy it?
I got it online. I got it
Okay.
online. Usually, I would go to one of the bookstores and I'd take my time and I'd go through the whole thing. You find a book, you sit down and you start reading it, see if you like it, and then I buy it. Like I do that from time to time. But now, like everybody else, now I'm online and when I'm bored, I'm buying stuff online. So I bought it from Amazon. Stuff on Amazon, and I bought this book, Fellini on Fellini, because I didn't read this particular book, and it's cool. It's an interesting book, and a lot of it, I like when he writes these books on himself. Like it's funny. Like to me, it's funny is what he does is he writes stories about his childhood, where he's from, and he's from Rimini, in Italy, and he also writes about the filmmaking process, and he writes about his stories. And he's like, I'm at a point where he's talking about himself, and he's talking about the fact that he's like he's a liar even about his life. Like he makes up stories, or even like he believes his own stories, like he makes his own history. And that's interesting. Like he's lived his whole life sort of fantasizing and in this dream world, and then he turns them into these movies that are about his life, but like they're about his life, but they're stories about what he wanted his life to be, or something like
Yeah,
that. You know what I mean? And so one of his films, Amarcord,
yeah.
which I really enjoy watching. Amarcord is a film that I really whenever I have time to watch a film, I try to watch that film as well.
Mhm.
And he shot the film, I think, in Ostia,
Okay, yeah,
which is in Rome, and if I'm not mistaken, and basically it takes place, and so that Ostia is like is what Rimini used to be.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because as he got older, Rimini became like this place where everybody went to party, or
yeah,
so I
yeah,
was
yeah,
told.
yeah.
And so Ostia was like a Rimini of the past, and so
Okay,
he filmed Amarcord there, and yeah, and so basically, like, do you believe everything that happens in the movie happened in his life? No, because of what he says, and I
yeah,
think that's
exactly.
interesting. And he's cool because he's like he was in it was when he was making films, it was in a time where you know um you had these filmmakers, these Italian filmmakers, and I don't want to, like, now I'm going to forget all their names, but where they're making these neo-realist type films, where like they're realistic films,
Yeah.
and he's making these kinds of imaginary, dreamlike, over the top films,
Hmm, hmm.
where it's like it's all a fantasy,
Yeah.
and it's like it's this one big dream world, and sort of kind of like it's like I kind of compare his films to like when you're dreaming, and you're dreaming that you're just living out your life, and these weird things happen, and it's like it's not real, but you're not too sure, and then you wake up. Like
Yeah.
his films are basically, that's what his films are like for me. Some of his films, anyway.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. It's
yeah, he's a fascinating filmmaker, that
oh,
guy.
he is, and I also find like most of these films, I find he's like the Italian version of Terrence Malick.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, because he always has these art house dream sequences, these fun, extravagant camera angles and settings. So
Yeah.
I find he's actually well, I mean, at the time, right? He was too ahead of his time, I find.
Cool. You're talking about Fellini.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Fellini is like that guy was in his own world. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, definitely interesting. Interesting movies, and interesting filmmaker as well.
yeah,
Like I remember, like this one, like and I don't want to obviously take too much time on Fellini, but I'm saying I remember reading something, or watching maybe a documentary where one of his friends. So he had a really good friend who I think lived in Rimini, and he was a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically his lawyer friend would talk about like Fellini and how he had like this disdain for what like Rimini became, like this party town, and it changed obviously.
Yeah.
And so when he would visit his friend, so he would so the he would Fellini would visit his friend, this
Mm-hmm.
lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
He would visit him at night. He would like there are stories where like he would visit him at night, and they would and like he would go to his house and it would be like something like 11:30 or midnight, and on a weekday, and then say, and then he would have to go out with him, and they'd spend the night talking and hanging out, and it's like, but by the time he got home, it's like 3, 4 in the morning, and then Fellini was gone. You know, like he went back to his world, and he and his friend had to go back to his world, and that was what it was like for a long time. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No.
anyway, so that's I found that interesting as well.
Yeah. No. It's. I felt like Fellini is like one of those yeah, a night person, right? So
I,
yeah.
I assume he was. If he was doing that, I assume he was. He was. Yeah.
Ah man, no, it's just it's just interesting how like we look up to these film like directors who are our idols, and
Yeah,
we
like I
tell ourselves, yeah, we tell ourselves, hey, you know what? If they could do it, so can us.
yeah, I mean, yes. Um but as I get older,
Mm-hmm.
what happens what's happened to me is like I really admire these guys. Really admire these guys for what they've accomplished, because I in the back of my mind, there obviously you can't help but think, realistically, how long can I go on? Obviously, like it's a passion of mine, and you're honest with yourself at times. I'm honest with myself. I try to be anyway, as much as I can, I'm trying to be honest with myself, and it's like you're thinking, how long can I go on and try to, you know, do what it is that I want to do, so the older I get, the more respect I have for these guys who were fearless and were doing their thing, and somehow made it happen for themselves.
Yeah,
It's really an incredible thing, really.
yeah, exactly. No, it really is. It really is, and it just wow. I know. Meanwhile, we're stuck here. We're like, God damn it. You know.
No, well, you know what? I don't. I Yes and no. Like they're obviously like I'm not gonna, if I'm being honest. Like
Mhm.
yes, I'm frustrated for sure. At times, you think, you know, there are certain projects that you do, and you're thinking, this particular project, it should have been something now.
Yeah,
It's just something should have happened. Like, and
yeah,
you're frustrated, you're down and out, but at the same time, I am doing what I want to do. It's not like I know that there's more that I want to do, obviously. And and I talk to Joe Rossi about this more often than not, when we have a chance. And I it's not like we're not doing, we are doing the things that we want to do. Obviously, we want to do them on a bigger scale, but you can't look at it that way, because if you look at it that way, you're never going to get anything done, obviously. So if you can do, like, for me, I'm doing the things that I want to do on a smaller scale, and I'm looking at it like, at whenever I can do these things, I'm building on these little projects, and hopefully it gets to a point where it becomes a big project. One where I can say, okay, now I'm at a level where this is something different now. And that's what I'm looking for now, something different. Because I've been doing these short films for some years now, like as I mentioned. So three years, or maybe, for sure. And now I know that I think I'm ready, and I know that Joe Rossi, Anita Maetza, David Magini, we are ready to do bigger films. But at the same time, it has to be right. You know what I mean? And obviously, some people are going to say, "Oh, there's never the right time." Yes, that's true, but you have to be organized, and you have to have things in place before you can jump off and do whatever it is that you need to do on a bigger scale. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So we're definitely we're there. We're just basically trying to figure out a way to make it work on a bigger scale, on a bigger level, and but until then, I'm happy with networking, doing these projects, seeing these projects get recognized. So you enter night shift, and like I said, it wins some awards. It's rewarding. It's really satisfying to see that, because then you realize, like, it confirms what you believe, right?
Yeah.
What
Oh, for
this
sure.
project that I created, it's a good project
For sure. For sure.
on some level.
Yeah, Anthony, you want to keep talking a little bit? I'm just gonna go grab some water, and I'll be right back.
Okay, what if I
Uh,
go? What if I go grab some water at the same time? You think people are gonna? I'm just kidding. I'm
all
just kidding.
right.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna go off screen.
You're gonna leave me hanging now.
Yeah.
How about this? We end it in 5 to 10 minutes. So you don't have to. You stay connected. You stay connected. You don't go get that water, and
So,
whatever happens, happens. If you start choking, I'll call the police.
it's like, sir, where are you watching this? Oh no, I'm watching it from my friend's computer. Can you go over to his place? Listen, monsieur, it's COVID. I can't do shit. All right. So, wait, Claudio, you're breathing. He has a red face. He's giving me a thumbs up. No, wait, that's his shirt. no,
Yeah, let's see what happens, Claudio. Let's see what we'll keep it
no,
short
no,
now. We'll
no,
keep
no,
it short.
no. I'll keep going. No, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Like, there's no limit. I'm actually
What?
having fun. It's just that this light is in my face. That's why I have to squint. Looks like I'm
Keep
seeing.
it. Keep it. You got the cigar look. You got the cigar squint. Keep it going. See what
Oh man,
happens.
Seagal's another guy. But yeah, no. So no, you're absolutely right. And it's just the future holds so many questions, right?
Yeah, I mean, now it's like there's a lot going on in our world, and the fact that we have the fact that we have this pandemic going on, we don't know what's going to happen from week to week.
Yeah, or day to
uh,
day.
or yeah, well, yeah, forget about week to week. Exactly. We don't know what's going to happen. I read somewhere that we might not go back the 11th. Like, things are going to be sort of like, in terms of lockdown, things are going to get worse, I heard. But you told me another story, like things are going to get, you told me, like, by March, I think, or something.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's what all the predictions are going, is hopefully by March. But look, we don't know, right?
We'll
It's
see.
just ruined. But look, I'll be honest with you. Virtual stuff is the way to go, right? And
I mean, what's left? You know what I mean? If we
what's
can't do
left?
things online.
I know everything is online. I'll be honest with you. I'm not that much of a big fan of it, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it is what it is. And but hopefully, Churchill. It's gonna be when we make it. It's gonna be, because I have a feeling by next summer everything's gonna be back.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. But you know what? The on a positive note, I mean, we'll have more time to figure it out. The lines, the story,
Yeah,
getting the actors together. That there's more time to basically work creatively in that way. And we're definitely going to be meeting on Zoom more often than not.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
on another note, Sarah Silverman never showed up. Sarah Silverman,
Did
not
she
even
even know you? Does
a,
Sarah Silverman even know you?
I say at least once. I'm sure she checked. She said, like, who is this Joker? Who's
Well,
this
you know
guy?
what? You know what? If we're on
Maybe
Instagram, no
once.
joke. If we're on Instagram, then maybe, just maybe, we would have.
I'm on Instagram now. Like, I sent her the message. So for those of you who don't know, again, I sent Sarah Silverman the link to this Dirty Four show, and hoping that she would show up, but didn't happen. Didn't
No,
happen.
no. Your hopes
And
are.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Do you,
Sarah Silverman.
does your wife know about this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She knows that I'm a
Okay,
huge
good. Because
Sarah,
I'm like.
Sarah Silverman. Yeah, she knows. She knows that I'm a huge fan. But you, like everything else, like, what are you gonna, she's gonna contact you. She's gonna, in some way, you're gonna end up meeting her. That's not gonna happen.
Is
That's not
Sarah
gonna happen.
Silverman? Where's she from?
You know what? I know that she lives in New York. Where's she from originally? I'm not sure, but I know that she was doing, like, these cool. Like, if you follow Sarah Silverman, she's really, like, I don't know. Do you like Sarah
She's
Silverman?
okay. I mean,
I think she's really funny.
yeah.
I'm a big fan. And she would do these things where she'd go onto her balcony in New York. I don't know, somewhere in New York. She'd go onto her balcony and like get people's attention. She'd have like a crowd of people below her, just like, hey, it's Sarah Silverman, and she'd be like protesting something or whatever.
Wow,
And
that's
then
true.
yeah, and then like right now, like I think she has her own podcast now, which is really cool. So the thing that I like about Sarah Silverman, and she's fearless.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah, that's what I love about her. She talks about everything and anything
Yeah.
that she's like she's into or against or wants you to know about. Like she's really like, and that's what I like about her. She's confident in that sense, and fearless, and she's really cool in that sense.
Yeah.
And funny, and so she does a lot of funny stuff. And like from time to time, what I like about her is like she does, like you would see her, like I think at one point she replaced Ellen. She did like an Ellen show.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. I
You know
remember.
what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, I remember.
So she can do stuff like that too. It like she her range in terms of like her comedy, it can go like mainstream if she wants it to go mainstream, or she could get really nasty and like really like she can go dark if she wants to, or she can go anywhere, you
Yeah,
know, and that's what's cool about her.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And she's an okay actor too. You know, she's
And she's a good no, yeah, she's a solid actor. She's a solid actor too.
oh yeah.
So I'm seeing she has yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And so like she's definitely talented. You know,
Mm,
she's definitely
yeah.
talented.
Oh, she really is. You know, and talent, talent is hard to work to. And if again, you know, because I'm always going with people who always put other people down. And I hear all these stories of like, oh, you know, oh, you're talented. Don't worry. When you get to 40, when you get in your 40s, those talents are gonna go away. But that's why, like, you know, this is why I find like most people are, you know, have that miserable lifestyle. You know, because it's because they never
Yeah.
did stuff in entertainment. Because everyone believes like, you know, having that 9 to 5 job, no,
Yeah.
sorry, going to school, getting a degree that you know you hate, like, you know, accounting, whatever. Then you have that 9 to 5 job, but you don't like it. Then you get married, and then you have kids, and then your wife nags you. But I think, you know, people
Are you
never
talking about me? Because I don't know what you're talking about, man.
wait. You have a degree in accounting?
How did you know?
You do?
Yeah, so you're telling everybody my story. I'm an accountant and I have a nagging wife, and what else?
You're not an accountant. No, but
Anyway,
that's
okay, sorry, continue. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, basically that's what I'm saying. You know, like I just, you know, from a stand-up comedian point of view, I I just find it sad how people, you know, see that black and white world. You know, they're like, no, like they'll only go see entertainment because hey, they need to fill up some time, but you know, they don't see from an entertainment point of view of the struggles. You know,
Yeah, like you know what? Yeah, well, because you don't know until you're in it, right?
exactly, because you
Like
know,
I've
for
been.
us.
Go ahead.
Okay. So like for us, we'll be like, let's go see a movie. We're gonna like it. But meanwhile, we're watching that movie, whether it's a big budget or a low budget, we don't know what you know, we don't know what was the process of that movie, or going to see a stand-up show. We don't know what this comedian, male or female, has been going through, you know,
Yeah,
to get there.
I'm glad you brought it up. I have a story about a
Yeah.
comedian. Like you know, because I've every time I've let's say I also wrote and produced a play once, independent play, and I did it at a local theater. And obviously, you know, as when you're producing these things, either a short film or you're producing a play that you created, whatever, you go get the actors. You try to get some actors that you think would do well playing certain roles. And I went to visit a comedian. I'm not going to say his name, but I went to visit a comedian um, at night because he was doing a couple of shows at somewhere downtown, and basically. when I got there, I think it was late. I got to one of his late sets. He was already plastered. I got the comedian. He was already. I could tell that the guy was like he was already there, and he did his thing, and he still did a good job. I mean, he did a solid job. He was funny. And then after he was done, before he came to me, because I was at one of the tables waiting for him, he saw me. And it took about 10, 15 minutes. He went to the bar, he drank some more, and then we basically went to have coffee somewhere. And the guy literally like he was talking to me about the business and in this business he gave me the whole cliche type spiel. Oh, you're too nice, Anthony. You can't you have to obviously have thick skin and you can't let people walk all over you. And the guy started crying, crying about his life, crying about the business, and crying about like how difficult it is. And it was like a really difficult moment to try to, like obviously you're there, you don't know what to say. You're trying to console to console the guy, and he's talking about the business and he's talking about how tough it is and how people don't see this side of it, like which side, the struggle, right, the struggle to get yourself out there, the struggle to get your name out there, the struggle to become successful, in other words. And so this guy was like crying because he was talking about all of it. And so
Mhm.
I was there until it was like, I think at this point it was like 3, 4 in the morning. I went there. I was feeling good about myself. When I came out of the whole thing, I was like, "Gee, man, I was really, really down." But at the same time, you understand that there's a side to it that nobody sees. That's
Mhm.
really demoralizing and hard and difficult and sad. It can be anyway.
Oh yeah, no, for
If
sure.
you let it get to you, you know what I
Oh yeah,
mean.
oh yeah, for sure. No, it's
And
yeah.
one more thing, and I can understand it because it's so hard to make it, and I can understand how difficult it can be if that is the only thing that you're basing your life on. If that, like, if you're trying as an actor or a comedian or a writer or an artist of some kind, and that's basically your means of making it, you're making ends meet, then I can understand how depressing and sad and how hard it can be. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It struggles. The struggle's all there, man. The struggles,
Yeah,
but it's just a matter of time. But as I mentioned, like people don't see the entertaining side. They only see no. Sorry, people don't see the struggle of the
yeah.
entertainment.
They just see the end result. Like the show, whatever
Yeah,
it is. Uh,
exactly, exactly.
yeah.
So yeah,
I'm gonna end our conversation on this note. Okay, I think I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. I interviewed Burt Young once.
yeah.
So I went to his place to interview him for a magazine, and I basically asked him in terms of making it. Okay, so like what it takes to make it, and he's like, "I'll tell you what it takes to make it in general in life." This is Burt Young, okay? And he said, and it was interesting because, and I think I said this, but I'll say it again. He told me it's like climbing a mountain. When you're climbing the mountain, you can't just go directly up, right? To the top of the mountain. You
Mhm.
have to understand that at some point you might have to go right, you might have to go left, you might have to go back down to get to the top. And he said once you reach the top, there's always going to be some guy or some person higher than you. So whatever level you reach, enjoy the view. And then if you feel like you can go higher, try. If you can't, you better understand that that might be it, because there's always going to be someone a little higher than you. You're going to have to accept that.
Yeah. It's oh man, that's a birdie thing to say.
A, a Burt Young thing to say.
That's a Burt Young thing to say. Ah
All
man, but
right.
no, but he's right though. He's right. That's man, this
On that note, Claudia, I'm gonna let you go get that water, I'm gonna say good night. I'm gonna say happy holidays to you and your family.
Hold on, give me a second. I have to fix this thing. So, so keep talking for
I think
two.
you look like you're done, man. You look like you're.
No. I'm not done. I'm just pissed off at this goddamn thing. Hold on.
But anyway,
Okay, perfect. Yes. No, you're right. It's it takes a while. Like there's no. And by the way, another thing now, what I'm gonna say before we end that
before
is
yeah, go ahead.
there's no age limit, right?
No, obviously, I mean, if you love doing these things in one way or another, you're gonna end up doing it. Like I really feel like in way like maybe at one point, at some point, these projects are gonna end, but I'm always in some way, maybe I'm gonna just do the writing part.
Yeah.
Who knows, like and then continue like that in that way.
Hmm.
We'll see. But I mean, when you're passionate about like writing or filmmaking or creating these projects, I think in some way or another, you're always going to find a way to do it.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Oh yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. In due time. So I think by next year, hopefully, we'll make the film.
yeah. So yeah, like I mean, that's the plan. But until then, I mean, we have the. I'm really excited about the story. I have to say, like as we end this, the collaborating with you has been really positive, and doing Dirty Four, whatever it is, it's always a positive experience, and hopefully we can continue, and then yeah, and hopefully, like you said, things open up in the summer, and if there's a window, for sure, I'm hell bent on doing this thing because I'm excited about it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, folks, there you have it. People on Facebook, YouTube, and the Twitch. This has been Anthony Calabrese, Lonely Path Films. If you look at the bottom, folks, there's a links to his Facebook and Instagram. And then I'm gonna
Thank
post.
you.
And no problem. I'm gonna post a link for Lonely Path Films of YouTube soon. And folks, just one more plug-in. We do this every Sunday night at 8:30. Episode 31 this Sunday, and en français every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony is definitely going to be coming back. And
Definitely.
yes,
And you know what? And the next time I'm gonna try to Sarah Silverman again. Maybe I have this weird feeling though. See, that's the other thing that I like about Sarah Silverman. She's unpredictable. So I have this
really
weird
is.
feeling
Really
that
is.
at some point I say she's gonna show up.
yeah, yeah, hopefully. And so, anyways, folks, have yourselves a good night. Merry Christmas. And folks, I know this year Christmas is gonna be. It's not like usual, but hey, you know what? We're all gonna get through this. And folks, follow Anthony Calabrese. Like he's a really fun guy. And if you go on Vimeo, Joseph Rossi, all the films are there. Even on Lonely Path films, all the films are there. So have yourselves a good night and see you again this Sunday night at 8 p.m. Oh, by the way, one more thing. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be with Victoria Blair, Victoria and Claudio's movie trivia night at 11
Cool.
a.m. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about Christmas movies. So stick around there for that and have yourselves a good night.
Favorite Christmas movie? Die Hard.
Oh, you know
And,
what? I was just going to say that.
and beat
Oh,
it. And beat
but
it.
no, Die Hard and Die Hard too. Because
Awesome. Yeah. And Home
yeah.
Alone.
Oh yeah,
Top
exactly,
three favorite.
exactly.
I
So
have
next
a
time,
top five, but that's for next time.
exactly when you come next time, we're gonna talk about top 5 movies. And so there you go. So have yourselves a good
All right.
night, everyone, and get drunk and be safe. Later.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.